So welcome to the webinar in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are going to talk about how we can use our products to assist with those that we know and we love that have breast cancer. I'm Dr. Rita McGuire. I am the Chief Medical Officer here at Wakana, one of the co-founders, and you know where I am every Wednesday on call on labor and delivery. But actually, this is our physicians conference room. But just know that many of you may know someone. Many of you may not only know someone, but maybe you're on the line and you're a breast cancer survivor. So this information is really powerful that I want you to share with your family members and friends or colleagues or coworkers that may not be on the line, that you feel this would be really, really helpful. All of our calls are recorded, so you can find them on the website, on our Wakana Facebook site. So cannabis oil can help fight cancer. I do want to reiterate a disclaimer that we cannot make claims that our CBD products can cure breast cancer. But tonight, what we're going to do is talk about the symptoms that those who have breast cancer, are undergoing treatment for breast cancer, can get a lot of assistance with our products. So this is the disclaimer that I was speaking of, that these statements made regarding these products have not been fully evaluated by the FDA. The efficacy of these products have not been confirmed by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. That's super, super important. If you are on the line and you're a business partner, that you understand not to ever make any claims that any of our products could cure, could prevent. We can't make diagnosis, and we cannot make treatment recommendations as well. So this is a short video that I want you to watch. Olivia Newton-John, many of you might have seen this last year when I shared, but it's pretty cool to hear her story on how she used.
Do vegans need to supplement their diet? It's not a popular question to ask, because even suggesting that they...
We are back with Olivia Newton-John, who is opening up about her second battle with cancer after being in remission for 25 years. Now, Olivia says there are two therapies that are transforming the way she thinks about health. I want to get to those, but just to get us started, 25 years ago when you were diagnosed, you went through chemotherapy.
Yes.
This time around, you decided, I'm not into it anymore.
Well, it really wasn't even recommended for me, but I don't read statistics because I don't believe in reading them, because then you become part of that. And I'm not a statistic, I'm me, so I don't know what is usually done for people, but they did initially put me on estrogen blockers, but I reacted so badly to them that I took myself off them because it made me really depressed, and again, that wasn't quality of life. So I use a lot of natural therapies for that, and use seaweeds and all the natural things that I can for estrogen blockers, and broccoli and cruciferous vegetables and all that. And there's a lot of products that have natural estrogen blockers.
It takes a little while to learn them. You're blessed to be married to someone who's a world expert in it. But, but I'm interested in part because I have friends who have advanced stages of breast cancer, other cancers as well, and we're all hoping, and I actually believe that in many instances these will become chronic illnesses. You may die 25 years with your cancer, in the future, but you won't die from the cancer. Is that your hope?
Yeah, I believe in that. You know, I don't believe in this fighting cancer thing, because I believe that creates inflammation, anger. It's more like, I'm going to win over you, I don't need you, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
The Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Medicinal marijuana is something that our audience knows I've been aggressively touting as something we should study more.
Yes.
Has it played a role in your recovery?
Yes, medicinal cannabis is a big part of my recovery, and initially, my husband is a medicine man, really, a plant medicine man, and he grows, because we live in California, so we can. He grows cannabis for me and makes tinctures, and the pain relief was incredible, even from the first time. Even just a few drops of the tinctures made such a difference to me that I totally believe in it.
But our government says it doesn't work. Haven't you read their reports?
Yeah, well, I know it does, and I've been fighting for it too in Australia, where the laws are even stricter than here. I'm living proof that it works. And they're doing studies in Israel. You probably know about them. And my husband is actually going to Israel next month to talk to the scientists over there, because they are curing cancers with cannabis. And different strains react to different illnesses. So it's not just cancer. It's Parkinson's and MS and all the autism and epilepsy we know for children, of course, but really it's a healing herb.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. And remember to check back off.
Did you hear that, guys? A healing herb. You can't buy love, healing happiness, or confidence. Let's turn this off first. Okay. A healing herb. Did you hear that? So really powerful, powerful testimony by Olivia Newton-John. And let's get back to the slideshow. Let's find this again. So really powerful video that, you know, really talks about how we really should look at things like breast cancer and look at it from a holistic point of view. And tonight we're going to specifically talk about how CBD can be able to assist with symptoms with those who have breast cancer. So a little statistics, you know, 29 breast cancers are diagnosed, 20 breast cancer is diagnosed every 29 seconds, which means that in the US, that's every 2 minutes. Around the world, it's 29 seconds. It's estimated that 86.4% of people will survive 5 or more years after being diagnosed with breast cancer. You know, breast cancer is affecting more than 2.8 million people in the US, both men and women. Yes, men are diagnosed with breast cancer as well, but we know that about 1 in 8 women in the US are diagnosed. When we look at the incidence of breast cancer by race, Caucasian women have the highest incidence, followed by African American women, followed by Asian Pacific Islanders, Hispanics, and American Indian and Alaskan natives. Now, there is a lot of talk about antiperspirants and deodorants. I know many of you know about this. And what they think is that it's the aluminum in antiperspirants, in the deodorants that we're using, that's the culprit. You know, the aluminum-based compounds that are found in our antiperspirants and deodorants actually are thought to plug up the sweat glands, those ducts. When we clog those ducts up, the flow of sweat is compromised. So there is some theory, not proven, that this aluminum acts like estrogen. And estrogen is one of those hormones that is found in high amounts in those who have breast cancer. So aluminum is acting like an estrogen-like hormone. Another thing that there's a link with antiperspirants and deodorants and breast cancer is parabens. Now, parabens are not so much used in deodorants and antiperspirants, but they're absolutely found in shampoos, not Wakana shampoos, but a lot of shampoos. So paraben was found in those who had breast cancer. They couldn't really link the analogy to if it's really parabens that's causing the breast cancer, but just know that you want to stay away from antiperspirants and deodorants that have harmful chemicals, one being aluminum. There's also a link to breast cancer with digestion. And that's why here at Wakana, we're really big on holistic overall wellness. That's why we have a flat belly challenge going on. That's why we have products to help us not only stay in good shape, but lose weight, to improve our gut health, right? We've got our bitter teas to improve our gut health. We have our flat belly gummies and our flat belly coffee brew to help us to improve our digestion. So this study, which was done in 1989, that showed that those who had minimum to little firm stool, you heard it, if you're not eliminating number 2, that could put you at an increased risk of breast cancer. Well, why is that? Well, if you were at our flat belly overview at the dispensary, I think it was last Friday, right? I spoke about the link to colon cancer and why African Americans have such a high risk of colon cancer. Well, it's because we love to barbecue. And when we barbecue, that charcoal, that's the best part, right? And them ribs and things we used to eat, that charcoal cannot be broken down and digested by our intestinal tract. So that charcoal is just sitting there and becomes a toxin, becomes a source of transforming into a toxic chemical that can cause colon cancer. The same thing holds true here with breast cancer. There is a link that a minimum amount of formed stool or a minimum amount of just going to number 2 can increase those fecal mutagens or toxins in the colon and be a risk for many for breast cancer. Another risk, being vitamin D deficient. Vitamin D is a link, deficiency is a link to breast cancer. They found that women that had vitamin D deficiency were at increased risk of breast cancer. Those who were obese, overweight, had BMIs over 30 were also at an increased risk of breast cancer. So women with the highest quartile of vitamin D concentrations, they had a higher or normal vitamin D level, had a 50% lower death rate of breast cancer. So remember, you've got to take your vitamin D supplements. It's important to really get on that flat belly gummy challenge. Follow our suggested meal plan and recipes in our ebooks, improving your digestion, as well as staying away from harmful deodorants and antiperspirants. So ways to reduce your risk for breast cancer: keeping a healthy weight, exercising regularly. Not many of us can run a marathon, but you know, Dr. Crawford loves to run. So find something that you enjoy doing. Maybe it is line dancing, or maybe it's the rebounder that we do every single day with Dr. Ross. Maybe it's working out with meditation, yoga, and weights with Minister Ernestine Davis and Queen Neff. Maybe it's hula hooping. Maybe it's roller skating. Whatever it is, get active. Getting enough sleep, making sure you're taking those gummies so that it helps you get that restorative sleep. 7 to 9 hours of sleep is what you need every day. Limiting your alcohol. If you can limit alcohol or even avoid alcohol, alcohol is not only toxic to our breast tissue, but it's toxic to our brain tissues, our cells, our cognition. You know, when I'm 90, I want to be and have a brain of a 21-year-old, right? And then breastfeeding. Breastfeeding your babies actually helps you reduce your risk of breast cancer. So many of us are baby boomers. We will not be breastfeeding, but this is information I think you should know to share with your granddaughter or maybe your grandniece, anyone that's still reproducing and breastfeeding. So why does breastfeeding lower your risk of breast cancer? If you know the answer, put it in the chat. Why does breastfeeding lower your risk of breast cancer? And don't Google the answer. Well, the reason breastfeeding lowers your risk of breast cancer is that when you are breastfeeding, the breasts are shedding tissue. And the more tissue that's shed have a less risk of mutating into a cancerous sort of environment. Breastfeeding also prevents those hormones for allowing you to have a menstrual cycle. So that also protects your risk of breast cancer. The circulating estrogens are no longer there. So those two things are the reason why breastfeeding lowers your risk of breast cancer. So breastfeeding is healthy for those babies, but they're actually healthy for moms too. So let's move into how CBD can assist with symptoms, because we can't say CBD can cure breast cancer, but can help with symptoms of breast cancer. So I used to be confused, right? But I'm not confused anymore. There is a distinct difference between CBD that's sourced from hemp and CBD that comes from marijuana. And the difference is that marijuana has high levels of THC and hemp has low levels of THC. THC is the compound that gives you the high. So this is why we always reference to hemp as being the health without the high. You won't get high, but all of the health benefits are there. So CBD stands for cannabidiol. Yes, it's a long word, but it's the main compound found in the hemp plant. It is one of the cannabinoids that will not give you the euphoria, the paranoia, or even the munchies. There's a broad use for CBD. We're going to talk about some of the uses because CBD has been found to be antibacterial, it's antifungal, it helps to reduce cancer cell growth. There are studies that show that CBD can help reduce the risk of that cancer metastasizing or spreading. CBD also helps to reduce seizures, convulsions. It helps to lower blood sugar, blood cholesterol. It helps to reduce the blockage of arteries. It helps to relieve pain. It helps to relieve anxiety. It helps to relieve nausea and vomiting. And in some situations, some of the cannabinoids that we'll see, like delta-8 THC, can actually help stimulate the appetite. So when we're talking about someone who has been diagnosed with breast cancer or has received treatment for breast cancer, some of these things CBD can address, like anxiety, like pain, like nausea and vomiting, like appetite, and even fatigue. So there are other cannabinoids that the plant makes, like CBG and CBC and delta-9 THC and delta-8. Just know the synergy of all of them collectively really has a profound effect if someone is looking to use CBD that has breast cancer. How does cannabinoids work? Well, how does CBD work? Well, it's the science. It's not a magic potion. It's not a snake oil. It's not some poof herb, right? It is truly a science behind how CBD works in the body. And the way it works in the body is through a science called the human endocannabinoid system. Another big word, right? But just know this system is found in every human being. In fact, cats and dogs have them, and any vertebrae, anything that has a spinal cord has an endocannabinoid system. So it's not just for humans, but this system keeps our body in balance. This system reduces inflammation. It reduces anxiety. And it does it by locking on to receptors that are found throughout our entire body, including our breast tissue, that puts the body in balance or reduces inflammation or helps to reduce the risk of this cancer metastasizing and spreading. It helps us sleep. It helps our mood. It helps inflammation. It helps pain. It helps anxiety and depression. There's so many things it can do because there are receptors throughout our entire body that's looking for CBD to put us back into balance. So when we talk about cannabinoids and breast cancer, lots and lots of research. We know, again, 1 out of every woman will develop an invasive breast cancer throughout the course of their life. What we do know, there's substantial evidence that CBD can help battle side effects from chemotherapy, like pain, nausea, and insomnia. anxiety. These studies that were done in 2015, 2014, yes, these studies were done on mice. Why? Because CBD wasn't legal back in 2015. But just know I'm going to show you some studies that are more current that are currently being done on humans. So again, the science says that CBD can help to stimulate the appetite. If someone is receiving chemotherapy and doesn't have an appetite, yes, CBD can help relieve pain because of these receptors throughout the entire immune and peripheral system and the central nervous system. And 3, CBD can help with nausea. So all of these cancer treatments that are going on, just know that CBD can assist. And what I love about the University of Chicago, because my aunt was diagnosed with uterine cancer last year, University of Chicago absolutely believes in the use of cannabis and the use of CBD in their cancer patients. So the role in preventing or treating cancer, again, these studies were early, but these studies that were even done on mice showed that cannabis users had a 45% lower risk of developing different cancers like bladder cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and uterine cancer. So what happens when cancer invades our body? Well, inflammation. There's a lot of inflammation that cancer causes. This inflammation can cause a compression of nearby tissues and organs, causing what? Causing pain. So that's why these patients need our products, because they do have pain. They also have those other symptoms that I spoke about, like loss of appetite, nausea and vomiting, insomnia. And these sort of symptoms CBD can address. So we can never say cures, but we can say can assist with symptoms. Even radiation, even those who are undergoing radiation may have these side effects where CBD can assist. Again, these studies were done initially in the early 2000s on rats, but again, they're confirming that this CBD can be a very viable therapeutic option in the near future. And that brings me to this study. This study is a very recent study that was done in 2020, where they are looking at the promising effects of CBD as an anti-cancer drug. So just know it's coming. Just know that the research is ongoing since 2018, when CBD was legalized for research in humans. So let's talk about products. We're going to quickly talk about products to address these symptoms of breast cancer: nausea and vomiting, pain, fatigue, anxiety, discomfort, and lymphedema. Lymphedema is another side effect that really is an uncomfortable side effect that breast cancer survivors may or may not have. With the lymphedema, lymphatic drainage massage is recommended. Also, they have these sleeves that they have to wear because of the surgery and the manipulation and even removal of the lymph nodes underneath the arm. Even the result of radiation and chemotherapy, the lymph nodes are not able to drain. So there's swelling, there's pain. So I recommend, for pain and discomfort, of course, our extreme pain cream, our Dr. Rita's rub, or even for acute discomfort and pain, using a pre-roll. You know, pre-rolls work very fast. Within 1 to 5 minutes, that person is getting relief. Now, our topical products would offer them local relief in the area that they're having pain. Wherever they're having pain, they can safely use these products topically. And of course, the pre-roll for acute pain. Nausea and vomiting. Nausea and vomiting absolutely is something that many patients have when they undergo chemotherapy. I think it's important having the tincture in their system, 3 drops twice a day. If they are undergoing random drug screens, our pure tincture would be good. If not, any of our power tinctures, again, start low and start slow. That will also help with the symptoms and side effects of nausea and vomiting. Well, how about appetite? Many patients who are undergoing chemotherapy become, they lose a lot of weight. You know, they start to lose weight, and when you lose weight like that, they have nutritional deficiencies. So appetite can be addressed with our Delta 8 products. I recommend Delta 8 for that specific symptom because Delta 8 is a very close cousin to Delta 9. It will give that effect for those who need a stimulation in appetite. So we have our Flight 50, which is 50 milligrams of Delta 8, or our Flight 25, which is 25 milligrams of Delta 8. Delta 8 is very strong. So if you are sensitive to THC, very, very cautiously use Delta 8. Start with a quarter of a gummy. Hopefully, Dr. Lisa Daniel is on the line. When she gives her testimony, I want you to include that Delta 8 story. Fatigue. Fatigue can come from lack of sleep, or fatigue could come from the draining lifestyle that many of these patients have when they're undergoing treatment. They're in the hospital. They're going for IV chemotherapy. They're going for radiation. It can cause a lot of fatigue. So I recommend a gummy 30 to 90 minutes before you go to sleep to help get that restorative REM sleep. I like using peppermint during the day. Rubbing peppermint on the soles of your feet give you that energy. The soles of our feet have the largest pores, and you want to just absorb that natural, holistic way of getting energy. So sleep is important to avoid that rebound fatigue in the morning, and that spray of peppermint will give you a nice awakening. Anxiety, you know, just getting the diagnosis of breast cancer or any cancer is very anxiety provoking. So I recommend for anxiety, any of the pre-rolls, or CBD or Delta 8 pre-rolls or vape, that will help to address anxiety quickly and within 1 to 5 minutes, or our broad spectrum or power gummies. Using one or using any one of these gummies, depending if you have a random drug screen, will help to reduce anxiety. It does that by releasing more serotonin and dopamine. CBD has a receptor on those neurotransmitter receptors so that they're able to be released. So you feel better, your mood is better, you're calmer, you're less anxious and less depressed. Hair loss. Hair loss is another issue with those who have undergoing breast cancer treatment, chemotherapy. That hair loss can be addressed with our hemp-powered hair, either topically or under the tongue. If you have random drug screens, you want to use the hemp-powered hair topically and not as a tincture. And our SOS, Save Our Strands hair care system. You definitely want to use both of these products. That includes in the SOS, the shampoo, conditioner, detangler, the styling cream, all of which I need right now. But, you know, excuse the hair, I do work out every day. But just know that hair loss is an issue. Now, what I wanted to include in the lymphatic drainage massage is our lotus and our hibiscus. So if you have a loved one that is going for these massages, send them off with one of these products. They're amazing. They have 200 milligrams of CBD. That CBD in these body butters will reduce inflammation, will help the swelling that those who have lymphedema have. So that's my recommendation. So thank you for your time, for your time. If you have any further questions, you can email me at ritamd@wakana.com. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to find our testimony. And I'm going to find there you are, Dr. Lisa. I'm going to move you over as a panelist. Dr. Lisa Daniel is my colleague. She's an OB-GYN, and she is a Wakanapreneur. She is a very, very active business partner in this company. She loves infusing cookies and candy and baked goods, which are so amazing. She's my workout partner. We are colleagues, friends, and business partners. And I see you, Lisa. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Dr. Daniel.
Hello, hello. How are you?
We are good. Thank you for sharing your story.
Sorry, I'm in the dark here. Thanks for inviting me to speak to you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. So I'm a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed. I had a mammogram in July of 2020. So right in the middle of COVID, I decided to get my mammogram. Very small, minute spots found with the mammogram and MRI. I went through all the counseling. I went to University of Chicago. I had a panel. I got a team, and they gave me the best advice. So I went through a mastectomy in October of 2020. And right after that, I went through radiation. I had 9 weeks of radiation. So it was quite intensive work that was required of me afterwards, as far as getting myself back ready for work. So most people at that point, a lot of people at that point don't really go back right away. But I wanted to get back to my patients and back to work. I had, as you mentioned earlier in your discussion, I actually also had lymph nodes removed during my surgery. It was an 8-hour surgery. I got everything done at one time. So they took and they replaced and they took my lymph nodes. And then I had radiation to that armpit, as well as to the breast area that was affected. So quite a bit of pain. Pain not only from the surgery, pain from the drains, pain from just movement, breathing, pain from the radiation. That was probably the most intense pain I've ever had in my entire life. And so, yes, I did not have to have the chemo. I didn't have any genetic cause for it, and my spot was very small. I caught it very early. Thank God. So the minimal amount that was needed is kind of what I took that route. But during my healing process, I took on the CBD route of trying to add that to my pain relief. So I did not do too much of the tinctures. I did topical, especially since I was attempting to work out at the same time. It kind of did a double duty there. So I did the extreme cream for the areas that were mostly painful to me, mostly under my arm, and where the drains were, I had a lot of scar tissue. And I had to go through physical therapy she showed you the massaging of the lymphatic areas, because I do have lymphedema. I still have it, and I'm guessing I'm probably going to have it for the rest of my life. So that does help with that pain, as well as I have tried the pre-rolls as well as the vapes. I tend to like the vapes better. Yes, they both work very fast and give me that relief I need right away. So between the two of them, it helps with that, and definitely the anxiety. Once you're diagnosed, no matter if they say they got it all or they didn't have any idea of when it might come back or how it might come back. I was young. I'm 50, so they consider that young and getting breast cancer. So I do have an increased risk that it might come back later in life. So that anxiety does exist, and definitely the CBD has been helpful in trying to relieve that. And going to University of Chicago, like she mentioned, they are very pro cannabis, whether it is CBD or THC. They're very pro proactive in helping you find your route and healing and reducing the pain that comes along with going through such extensive surgery. So fortunately, I was already involved in the CBD world, so I was able to just kind of dip in my own products and see what worked best for me. And I found out that the vaping as well as the cream was very helpful. And I had been using the cream for working out already, but didn't realize how much help it was going to also help me later down the road when I needed it for this process also.
Thank you so much. You know, I failed to mention that you're my soror too.
I sure am.
But Dr. Daniel, you have to share that little experience with the Delta 8. The Delta 8 gummies, that time you're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
I'm sorry. There you go.
It's a funny
Yeah.
story, guys.
So yeah, I took the Delta 8. I took the Delta 8 gummies. It wasn't the pre-roll. And because I was having so much anxiety and the inability to really sleep. I couldn't sleep. Every night I would be in so much pain. I didn't sleep. I think probably 3 out of the 6 weeks I was in recovery. I mean, I was so anxious and in so much pain. And I decided I was going to take the Delta 8 gummies that night. And oh my gosh, did I sleep? I slept so well. And when it was time to get up to go work out, I stood up and I couldn't go anywhere. And I went right back down. I felt no pain. I felt total relaxation. I've been like pushing those for everybody who's been in this anxious state. COVID itself is such an anxious state. And I've tended to lean towards those when my anxiety pops up. And I told people to, just try it. And I've gotten actually a great response from people, even at the gym, who are, you're surrounded by these people all the time, but you want to stay healthy. And they find it a good way to just relax. To get relaxation actually helps with weight loss. It helps not only with pain, but it helps with weight loss. So you have to be able to relax and get that rest you need in order to actually stay healthy.
Yeah, so Dr. Daniel is a beast. She's in the gym every single day. She is a warrior. She is a strong woman. She's a mom of 3 amazing daughters. She is a wife. She's an OB-GYN. She is just thebomb.com. And she's so brave. She's so brave. I remember the night we did a Zoom together. All your sister friends, we were on Zoom praying with you before your surgery. And I just want to thank you for sharing your testimony, because it really means a lot to everyone on the line. It really does. So thank you, Dr. Daniel.
You're welcome.
God bless you, and have a great evening with your family.
Yes.
With her family.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Take care.
Bye-bye now.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to take some questions. And yeah, it was an amazing testimony. Powerful. Yes, very powerful. She is a strong woman. I'm telling you, that is a bad woman, and jumped right back into work. I think there is a question about natural charcoal. What about natural charcoal available now? Is that harmful as well? Julie, are you speaking of the charcoal that you are grilling with? If at all possible, get a gas grill. I remember in the 70s when my father, who wasn't a physician, he was an entrepreneur, owned his own furniture company, but found that data. I don't know how my father found that, But when he found that data about barbecuing and charcoal, and that charcoal not being able to be broken down in the intestinal tract and just laying dormant as a mutagen, as a toxic that can turn into cancer, we no longer had barbecue on charcoal grills. And I was sad, but I was too young to really understand why. But I'm not sure about natural charcoal, but try to stay with that gas grill if at all possible. So hopefully all of you now have a good, firm understanding on how we can help our loved ones, how we can help our friends, our families, our co-workers that you know have been diagnosed with breast cancer, or maybe they're a survivor of breast cancer. 9 times out of 10, survivors have lymphedema. They have that swelling. They have to wear a sleeve. They have pain. You can help them. You can help them with our products, okay? So hopefully you have a better understanding about that. There was a question about what can be used to firm up our breast, skin, stomach, etc. Well, we don't specifically have a product for skin firming or tightening. You know, there's a lot of those products on the market. But what I will tell you is that CBD helps to improve the matrix of the skin, the collagen. It helps to reduce wrinkles. We do have a facial serum that helps tighten the skin on the face. But using our mango body cream, using any of those body butters that have CBD will assist with tightening and firming tissue around the abdomen and the breast, just from the mere medicinal properties CBD has on the skin. Wonderful. Any other questions? Let's make sure I didn't miss anything. We talked about firming. We talked about charcoal. We talked about how awesome Dr. Daniel is. And let me look on the Q&A and make sure I didn't miss anything. Well, if there's anyone on our medical panel that wants to say anything, I was trying to move you over Dr. Kim Smith. I was trying to move you over Doris Mosley, our trichologist. I'm trying to move some key people over to the panelist side in the event they want to say something before we close it out. You can unmute yourself and you can share with us if you have any information on our topic tonight that you want to add.
Dr. Rita, I just want to emphasize the nutrition with most things, but especially cancer, because cancer basically is mutated cells. And so we want to eat less processed foods, eat more natural plant-based. So and overall that would help. So we can assist with, our flat belly gummies and coffee and water soluble and the culinary to get that CBD in to help with the inflammation and the, mutation of cells.
That's fantastic. Absolutely, yes. Diet has a huge, huge part in reducing our risk, reducing our weight, reducing obesity, has a huge part in reducing our risk of breast cancer. So thank you so much, Dr. Crawford. Hopefully everyone is very knowledgeable about our CBD products, our flat belly products. And if you are not, if you're a guest on the line, please, please connect with the person that invited you so you can get these products in your hand, so you can get the recording in your hand and then share with others. And you can really help those who are surviving the breast cancer, who are breast cancer survivors, or maybe those who are newly diagnosed. Thank you so much, Dr. Crawford. Any other comments or questions? Thank you so much, Rita.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? This is Dr. Kim. Hello.
Hey, there you are, Dr. Kim. I kept trying to move you over.
I'm here. I just wanted to say that I hope everyone heard that she said in the midst of COVID, she went and had her mammogram done. You know, I've had a lot of patients who are saying, okay, I want to put off the mammogram. I want to put off my colonoscopy. These are really important tests for prevention. And imagine what it would have looked like for her had she waited. You know, early intervention is the best intervention. So I just wanted to make sure everybody caught that. You know, she, even in the midst of all that's going on, she still went and did her preventive exams. And that is why she had such a, I mean, I don't want to say a simple course, but simple compared to what it could have been. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure everybody caught that and reiterate, it is important to do our preventive exams.
Such a great point, Dr. Kim Smith, because so many people are waiting and this pandemic don't look like it's ending very soon.
Exactly.
And we just never know. Breast cancer can spread so fast or be indolent and spread slowly. So thank you. Great point. Hopefully everyone did hear her, that she went to get a mammogram in the midst of the pandemic. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Any other comments before we end it this evening? Gwendolyn, we're going to have you connect with your sponsor or connect with your, if you're a guest, to connect with the person that invited you, so they can explain how you take the flat belly gummy, tea, and coffee, okay? Because that is a pretty lengthy discussion, and we want to make sure that you get that information. So connect with the person, Gwen, that invited you, Gwendolyn Range. So if you're on the Zoom webinar, if you invited Gwendolyn Range, or if Gwendolyn Range is in your organization, please reach out to her, because we want to get those products in her hands, and we want her to take those products in the proper manner. So it is 3 minutes to 9. And you know what I've got to do? Go upstairs and deliver some babies, some blessings. So be well, be safe. I'll see everyone on Saturday. I'm so excited. Legacy Conference. If you don't have your ticket, stop, get your ticket, go on your website, go on your back office, purchase your ticket, purchase another ticket for a guest, invite them, let them be your guests so they can hear and see what amazing things we're doing at Wakana. So God bless you all, and I will see you on Saturday for the Legacy Conference. Take care.